and I will make all of you co-hosts. So if anything happen to me with the internet, this will still hang. Okay. All right. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon,
Afternoon.
sir.
All right. Thank you for coming. And then I think this very short meeting will be about sharing of your service, independent service experience. So many students, many people can be more aware about this program, and also they can do their independent service on their own. So first of all, I would like you to introduce yourself first, so everyone will know you, so you will be a little bit more popular than what you already have been. So let's start with who wants to start?
Okay, I'll start first. Uh,
Okay.
my name is Clara, and I am a 10th grader in Sekolah Pintar Pas, SCP. And yeah, that's it really about me.
Okay.
My name is Venska. I'm also a 10th grader. I'm in the same class as Kara, and I'm also from SVP.
Yes.
Okay. So both of you are 10 grader, yeah? Both of you are right now are in grade 10. So let's start talk about this independent service itself. You have you finished your activity in independent service?
Yeah, we already have one independent service activity.
Okay, and then this is were you working in a group or like independently, just individually?
We worked in a group, but we made our reflections and documents separately.
All right. So could you tell us about what was your service about?
Venska, do you want to tell?
Okay. So basically, so our service is about making an interactive digital book about Shakespeare's Macbeth. So our, what do you call that? Our aim is to help like the grade 7 to 9 students of SVB so they can like familiarize themselves with like Shakespeare works, because like Shakespeare works has like their like some, I guess like as they describe it from our like survey, they describe his language is like somewhat difficult to understand. So we kind of like want to simplify his work so like people can understand it and like familiarize themselves so that like later dates in like ninth grade or like 10th grade when they read Shakespeare, they like kind of like know like the gist of his work and kind of like the characteristics and whatnot. And we decided to do interactive digital book in particular because we have found that interactive digital books are like it engages the audience more, and so like they will be a lot more interested in the book, and it would even like help them increase their interest in reading.
All
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Clara,
in,
you
addi-
want to add?
in addition to what Venska said, uh, basically, we also found in the investigation section our uh, service project that the grade 7 to 9 students of SCP, they don't read that much. Yeah, they also admit that they have like low literacy capabilities. So we thought that the most effective way to engage them into kind of exploring more literature, especially more difficult pieces of literature like Shakespeare's works, is to make this interactive digital animated book, just as what Venska said.
All right. So this is like, to me, it sounds like you guys aware about maybe the reading habits in Indonesia in general is not that good yet. Do you think so? Like, is that where this idea coming from? And you yourself maybe like really like to read, so you kind of want to increase this awareness, like people should read more, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like most, because our target audience is teenagers, it's already kind of like a big assumption that they would be more invested in video games and social media rather than like reading, right? So we just basically confirmed that kind of hypothesis through our investigation and through like the data that we gathered, and that became like the main problem and aim that we wanted to kind of not entirely solve, but alleviate or improve in this service project.
Right. So this is started from you want to raise awareness, and it's become a hypothesis that maybe this younger generation, they don't like to read, rather they like to play game more. And then you said you prove that your hypothesis is right. So there, the first stage in service is investigation, correct? So how did you do your investigation?
That's good. Do you want to explain?
In our investigation stage, we basically we we made a survey and we sent it to grade 7 to 9. So we kind of, that's how we kind of gathered the information that their reading habits, they rarely read, and so like that was kind of how we found our like the problem. Like that was where we confirmed our hypothesis.
Sorry. How bad is the reading habit in lower grade? Like, what is the surprising data that you found in the found in the investigation? Did they like just read one book for the whole year, or is that any kind of data that you find shocking to you and quite surprised about the result of the data, showing how bad this case is actually? Is there data something like that?
Yeah. So basically, we sent like a Google Forms to them, and a combination of like basically 60% of the grade 7 to 9 students, they either only read like every couple of months or like once a year. Yeah, every couple of months or once a year. So that's like the most surprising thing. And only like a small percentage of students actually only read like pretty often.
Right. So that data then kind of like strengthen your hypothesis, like your guess. Oh, this is something that we have to care about. Like maybe we can help, something like that, right? So what then make you think that the Shakespeare is the you plan to make this interactive book about like Shakespeare? And yeah, why you choose that? Like among all other options that you have, probably why do you think you then ending up with this option?
That's good. You want to start?
Um, Part of the reason why we chose Shakespeare's Macbeth was because it was also part of our English lesson. It was part of our English unit. So yeah, that was kind of how we wanted to connect our lesson and like use it as a way to help the grade 7 to 9 students.
Yeah, and connected to that, like um, when we were learning Shakespeare, we were learning Shakespeare's Macbeth, right? And realized that kind of the content in Shakespearean works, like the themes and kind of like just different motifs and symbols, they're not exactly easy to comprehend, right? So we wanted to kind of introduce Shakespeare's Macbeth from like an earlier age so that they won't struggle as much in like when they go to grade 10, for example. And also like the fact that in SVP, the Shakespearean works are already included in the English syllabus. So like for example in grade 8 you have, or grade 9, either that, you have to learn like Romeo and Juliet, so that, so it's already like embedded into our learning, so might as well help them, make it easier for them.
Right. So this is related like closely to the curriculum as well in English, right? So that's why you
Yeah.
choose that as well. It's not only I guess what I understand in here, you not only try to increase the like let's say reading habit, but it's also useful for them later when they are let's say in grade 10 because this is one of the content itself in grade 10, correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about planning then, because the second stage is planning. My question is, you plan this all, and you know, like, okay, and I believe your time management and everything is very good. Probably you use Gantt chart or something. Is there anything that doesn't work at first, and then you kind of want to like in the middle? I think this is have to be evaluated and changed and in your planning. So like I'm asking about how do you evaluate your plans every time, and then if you think that there needs to be a modification or slightly changing a little bit, and you do it. Is there any case like that? Because we know lah in our world like there is no such a perfect thing. Sometimes things happen. What do you think?
Um,
Or
well,
everything just according to plan? I mean that's like both ways still okay. Okay.
I don't. I don't think. I think there were right. But there were like some changes that we made along the way, but I don't
Yeah.
think there were exactly significant changes in our plan because since the beginning we already had like a kind of a clear goal and vision, so we kind of like already envisioned how it's gonna like go through. You know, like the service project.
Yeah.
What's
So
the example of the changes that you've done so like to your plan?
oh yeah. Wait, I gotta think about
Honestly,
it.
I don't remember. Wait.
I think like probably like so we kind of like for to make this project happen, we copied the design specifications right from design, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like kind of the like criteria, you know, like how they we make it from the beginning to the end. So like probably for this project we have like a very long list of kind of the specifications and criteria that we're gonna have for the product. And like along the way we like changed a lot of things and like added, removed like that.
The criteria of the product itself. You,
Yeah.
along the
Like
way, there's some modification and changing along the way, something like that.
yeah, because like we just like, you know, decided, oh, this is not really doable or like we don't have enough time, so like scrap that like that.
All
It's kind
right.
of be flexible.
Can you show to us the design specification that you talked earlier? What is it? And I know that you guys under the design teacher, unfortunately, he kind of busy right now, probably. So like the design thinking and design procedure, what do you call it? Like design steps, design procedure. You use that specific content from design, right? Like, okay, if you want to make to build something, this is what you're going to do first, and then the second one, the third one. Can you show us some of the document?
Okay, sure. Should I
Okay.
share my screen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is probably one of we
Okay.
expect that okay after you studied you discuss something in your class and then you go beyond that and try to use what you know from your class to address some issue in your community. Okay.
Yeah. So the thing about this design because we're our supervisor is Pa Adrian, right? So like we kind of like also like copy, you know, how he structures it. So the good thing is that the actual design subject, whether it's Pa Adrian's class or Buis's class or like DT product design, the kind of criteria A, criteria B, criteria C, and criteria D actually aligns with the steps of the service as action. So we just kind of like copied it. So this is, for example, like basically copying criteria B, right? So like for aesthetic, this is the thing, design specifications, and the cost just to like prove it in the customer, the environment, like what type of file will we be sending to the audience, and then the size, and then like safety, function, stuff like that. So for the function, we basically have to like outline like the page,
Pages.
yeah, of the entire book. And yeah, this is like 30. Oh yeah, and then basically our product, to make it more interesting, we also added like kind of different endings. So there's the original ending and then the ending that like kind of for creativity, just to like help the readers be more engaged. And yeah, so this is like, and basically we kind of like toyed with a lot of ideas. So this is like my drawing.
Yeah, we made like ideas based on our like the design specifications. So from that specifications, we kind of developed some like designs that we're gonna use in the actual book, and so that's how like basically everything like came about.
Yep. And then after that, this is like also like you have to test using digital paint. And we're not like exactly artists, so this is like um and then and then in this part, we taking action, we finally like compile everything and also put the animations. And this is where we use like the schedule. But this too we didn't follow strictly, so that's okay. Yeah, and this is just basically our whole schedule and like what we have to do for each of it. And then just like we have to justify too, right? Like if like to the supervisor what we changed, because we talked a lot with him about like how our book wanted it to be like. um and then the final product is this is the final product, like a the book. So you just basically click on it and then like it'll move and stuff. Yeah, you have to wait, it's a bit long. Yeah, and then like
Oh,
yeah, and then this is just basically what we did. Yeah, basically. And then you want to like skip right, and like you can see this directly because like it's in a drive file. And then after we have made this product, um we what do you call it, we did the oops okay we did the demo. Oh, wait, we did the reflecting and the communication. We sent the Google form, right? And even though the responses weren't that much, at least we got a good idea of how this book can help people. And in the end, our supervisor suggested to us that like to expand the reach of our service, we do something to like help people reach this book more, and like they know that this book exists.
Yeah, make it
So
more accessible.
yeah, yeah, we put it in the library of the
right.
school.
Cool, 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 cool. Well, actually, I've checked it in library as well. It's like super cool. But first of all, like, did you also, when you design this all along the way, the process of design itself, is there any input from the, let's say, target audience itself? So like, I don't know, maybe the color preferences or whatever. Do you also like ask them for inputs, like what they want, something like that?
Oh yeah, that was part of like the investigating. So in that same survey in the beginning, we also asked them like what type of colors they would want to see. When she's opening it, like their art style too, and so we kind of based it off their preferences as well.
So like basically we already have to make a this is yeah, you have to make a research question, right? A research plan. And then we already included like the kind of aesthetics of the book. So like we know that this book is suited towards the preferences of the target audience.
Wicked. So yeah, so what I meant like before, the focus of service is always, I think, the balance combination between passion, your own passion, because maybe you kind of like to uh, maybe you have passion somehow in this is, I think, a little bit like about language and arts a little bit. I guess that you kind of have that the passion in that area, and also the input from the audience itself is very very good for you guys. So now, like, how long did you take overall from the start to beginning to do this project?
Well, we can just see here from August 7 to October 12. So that's like 3 months. No, yeah, wait, yeah, 3 months, I think.
It's two lah, August. Oh, yeah, three. No, yeah, yeah, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
basically that time frame. Yeah.
Okay, so from this activity, you guys, what do you think the learning outcomes that you have been achieved, and how do you think you achieved that?
Veska, do you want to tell about learning outcomes?
Okay, so the four learning outcomes that we have achieved in this service. The first one is about the student initiated activities. Discuss about and plan student initiated activities. So basically, in this one, we kind of have to. This is like also like in class, but then we because like we're working in groups, so we also have to like discuss a lot, and then like as well as like so we need to initiate like, oh, when are we going to start this, when are we going to start that, and the second one, the persevere in action. Obviously like this is like a it's quite it's a quite time consuming project since like all the drawing and like all the wording and stuff, and so we are also balancing this with like school work, other school work, so we also have to like very like try to keep up with the schedule, even though we didn't really do a good job on that, but then we still tried really hard to finish this in the amount of time frame that we had. And then like undertake challenges and develop new skills. We also had to work with new what do you call that, new programs, new websites that we needed to use, like I forgot what that what one website is called, but then we had to like compile all of our drawings into that to make the animation, which we had never done before, and so we had to like learn how to use it as well. And then fourth, of course, working collaboratively, we had, because like during this pandemic, of course, we had to do like a lot more communication. Yeah, so we had to communicate to make sure we have like the same goal, and we're like we're working yeah, together, and it's working properly, and we are doing our parts
Yeah.
equally.
Also, like in the end, we had to like also like work together with the library to make sure that they can, kind of, make our book more accessible, stuff like that. And yeah, also about like this project was at first really stressful because we didn't know how to animate. And like Venska does have some experience in digital art, but I don't at all. Like I'm not an artist at all. So like it was that's why we had to undertake challenges to like develop like new skills. Yeah.
All right. So sounds that this is a quite challenging project after all, right? Like, I mean, overall. So like, what do you think after you finish this all project, and then seeing the probably like response from the audience, no matter how much, how many, um, uh, considering all of that, do you think you kind of happy to do it at the end? Like there's some satisfaction, and then like this is something that probably will useful for someone. Do you feel that, or do you think this is, I don't know, you still confused, it's still tiring? I don't know, sir. What do you think?
Uh, um, I mean, like there is some amount of satisfaction to it because it's like at first it was kind of scary because this idea of making an interactive book, like I don't know where to start, like I don't know what to do, right? And but it does feel satisfying just to like kind of be able to do everything that we plan to, and provide resources to our juniors so they won't struggle as much, you know and they can like survive English class and actually develop better reading habits. So yeah,
Yeah,
satisfying.
I also feel the same way. Like I'm actually like really satisfied that like I got to make this and like kind of help the juniors, like she said. And I'm also like I don't feel like, I guess I wouldn't say I regret it because I also like learned a lot of things, like especially with the new skills that I got. It was also like a really good experience, and like like for future references, maybe I can use it again in the future.
Yeah,
That,
like especially the new skills that we gain, I like we can use it for other stuff. Like for example, the new skills that I gained in this project, I actually use it for my PP. Like so, yeah, it's definitely useful.
yeah, that's very good to hear that, you guys. I mean, you tell me that you learn a lot from this project. I mean, you kind of forced to learn more, and then probably at the beginning you're not sure about, can you do that? Can I do that? Because you never do that, and then like at the end, after you think this is finished, and then you're like, oh, we actually can do this. But my question is, next question is like, is there anything that you also learn, or maybe something new that you learned from your target audience itself, from the junior itself? Like for example, when you do the investigation, you do like many communication probably, I guess, with them, like asking question, or like maybe just interviewing them or something like that. Is there anything, any new things that you know or you learned from them as well? Probably, oh, actually, grade 7, they're not that what we call it. They're not kids anymore. So like something like that, or like they know, like they can have their opinion and something like that. Is there anything that you learn from your target audience, or
Uh,
some new thing that you know from them you didn't know before about this one, but then, oh, actually that's okay, something like that? I give you, this is a question probably, maybe I give you time to think.
there's actually one. Like this is because there's always that misconception that younger people are more like I don't know, like cheery and enthusiastic about many things. But actually, during the what do you call it, reflecting and communicating, we needed their like final input, right, on this book, right? And it was so difficult to just get them to fill the form and like I don't know, like put their thoughts about it. So like we had to literally reach them like not exactly one by one, but we had to like reach individual like students from the grade 7 to 9 community and just tell them like, hey, can you tell your friends to uh fill out the form. um and that's definitely like something I kind of found to be new because I thought that going to this project that they would be like, oh, that's cool, that's I want to try that out, but instead they're pretty like passive.
Yeah, yeah, you maybe you thought before that they're super like active and that like
Yeah,
cheerful. That's then what you found is it's not exactly like that, something like that. Yeah, like you
yeah,
even have to go individually, like one by one, like not one by one, see, just maybe some of them individually to give some feedback. And yeah, that's the new thing that you know and you learn from them, right?
yeah. Like Benska and I had to like message them, like private message them, like a lot
Uh,
of students just to get them to fill the form. But yeah.
okay, what about you, Fanska? Is there anything, it doesn't have to be, just a little thing maybe that you see from them, like, okay, I'd never thought about it before, and then like they're actually like that, or something you learn probably.
I don't know actually. I mean, I can't really remember, but yeah, I definitely agree with Kara about them like being less cheery than they seem to be, and also like I think like what's actually yeah, because like in my experience, they're like very responsive usually. Like they like when you ask them a question, they're like, oh yeah, and like usually like in like for other forums, usually you'd have like at least like at least 15 responses, but I don't yeah, but then like I think we got like less than that, which was like quite surprising for me too. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really recall.
It just goes to show that like teenagers are unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah.
So like let's
Okay.
pick something to
So can I say that probably that's maybe a little bit uh, has changed your point of view about teenager a little bit? Like, can I say that, or like because now you have like a little bit more understanding about them or not?
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, more understanding, and I think kind of that understanding that we have of teenagers is pretty helpful because, like, both me and Venska we're doing PP, and we're gonna have to gather responses from people, including teenagers. So I think we're better prepared to, face them and like kind of ask for their responses.
So it kind of like you have this new point of view, and you know that this is something that maybe can help you when you do your PP because you know them in advance. Oh, this response needs to be. You have to do something more or something like that to get
Yeah,
the response.
you have to do like you have to give more effort in getting their attention and getting their response.
Mm. Good, 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 good. Because like service is not like you give something and then someone benefit from them and that's it. Because it's gonna be like reciprocal, so like both way. You also have you can learn many things from them. So maybe you can also find a new thing in yourself that you don't know before because of them, something like that. So this is not one way that okay the superior thing I can give you this, I'm the one that has more power, so I give you this to help your life will be messy, your life will be, you know, it will be it will be for both ways, like for you and also for the target of service itself. So I think that's a good thing to know that you guys also learn something from them and also learn new skill. That's another level as well. Last question, probably. And by the way, it's a very good project, you guys. I mean, I can see the documentation is, the reflection and everything is like super complete. And I know, I think that probably it is so unfortunate that Pak Adrian cannot attend this. I want to hear from him as well. But like last thing, for those that still probably uh, they don't really into service yet, like they have not started anything yet. Is there any uh, thing you can say to them so they can have like, I don't know, more motivation like to do the service itself? You,
Uh,
yeah.
uh, Probably like I know that service is supposed to be for the people, right? But you know, I think it's also good if you incorporate some of your passions into the project, so that like at least you're doing something because like this project for me and Venska, it took us like 3 months, right? It's like 3 months of like just like working every week to like complete this. So might as well do something that you enjoy, and like usually if you do something that you enjoy, the product will be of higher quality because you're putting more heart and passion into it. So yeah, I think that's a good tip.
So please choose something that you also like. It's not only what the audience needs, like the community needs, but also something that you like to do. So it at least you will be giving your whole heart when you do it. Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you,
Like,
Fenska.
um, I also, to me personally, what do you call that? The satisfaction that you have after you've done the project, to know that like you've helped someone, is like it's a great feeling to know. Yeah, like once you do something for someone, and you know you've helped them in some way, it's actually like a really great feeling. So I think, after like all of the work that you've done, I think it'll all be worth it.
Yes.
Oh,
Agree.
Fenska, great answer. Okay, thank you very much, you guys, for this short meeting. Hopefully, your PP will be great, your DP will be great, and yeah, I hope that you don't stop here, but you still have this, service sense of service in you. So wherever you will be later on in the future, you know that you're not living alone, and then this is this is something that you will live up to until later in the future. Terima kasih.
Yay! Thank you, Pak Krishna.